Now that you've decided to use Microsoft Dynamics Business Central, you really need Popdock. Popdock is by far the easiest way to get at, work with, and find the data that exists inside Business Central. E1 Solutions is the developer, and I'm going to take a few minutes here to show you around Popdock and how it works. Firstly, Popdock is a list-based reporting tool. So it gives you list-based access to every piece of data that exists inside Popdock. My developers call Popdock a universal query engine. It says you can ask Popdock any question about any of your business data and it will give you the answer. I like to call it an easy reporting tool for everyone on all of your data. Now, importantly, this is not fancy BI. This is not big data. This is not a tool for analyzing 4 years worth of data and making business decisions. Popdock is a tool for everyday people, for people that have jobs, the forgotten people that don't want pie charts but need data and need the data they need to do their job better. It's for people who need little bits to know whether a purchase order shipped, who took the purchase order, what lines were on it, when did it arrive, to know if timesheets were entered, to know what dimension codes were included on an invoice. That's the kind of information that Popdock provides real workers. It makes everybody do their job better because they know the right things when they need to know it. Importantly, it knows it where they need it as well. So some people want to work in Excel. Some want to work directly in Business Central. You've got people that don't have a Business Central license and they need a browser access to it and or on their iPhone. The best bit is the price. Popdock comes at $19 per user per month. It's cheap, inexpensive, and very easy to get started. So let's jump in and take a quick look at the product. To start, I'm going to begin here at popdock.com. Being a cloud-based solution, I'm simply going to log in here. And this login here, I've told it where my Business Central environment is. So it knows how to log in and connect me to Business Central. When I come in, first thing I can do is look across the top, and these are my favorite tabs. You get to define each of those tabs and what list it contains. I'm going to start with the first one, Sales Invoices. So what's happening here is it's connecting to Business Central's API and bringing me back the data I defined to say that I wanted. Now the first thing I'm going to do when I look at this is say, you know what, that's good. I really want the customer name up front. So I'm going to move the customer name right up to the front of this list. I get that control. Now I'm going to decide I don't want the customer number. I'm going to go by name today. So I'll take customer number off. Simply untick the box. Then I might want to find more data. So over on the right, every piece of data relating to invoices is here on the right. So I can say, let's add the city. That's a good field. We can also add something like, let's grab commission information. Let's grab the salesperson commission because we want to do some work on their month-end commission. So we'll add those columns to this list. So it's as simple as that to add any data related to Business Central into the report we're looking at. So now I know where they're from and I know how much we're paying in commission. What I then get to do is I can take the city field here and drag it up the top. And now we're going to group the data, a bit like a pivot table, to see where we've been selling. So we can see Atlanta, and Atlanta gets its own subtotal. We can see we've had 2 sales in Chicago, and we sold some things in Miami. So that's a nice snapshot to get it the access to the data. If I don't want to group it, I can simply undo that. The next piece to this is filtering. So filtering is this icon here, and it says ask Business Central a question. So I'm going to ask Business Central, tell me everything where, and I'm just going to pull up here, the total, including tax, was greater than, I don't know, $1,000. So that's the first question. Business Central now is coming back and saying, here they are, here's all the ones that met your criteria. Now that was a simple filter. I could put as many filters as I like in here, as you can see, and there's a wonder of different filtering criteria. Starts with, ends with, is not between, is less than, is greater than. I can get any data that I need out of Business Central. Now the next piece to this is, while I'm seeing invoice header information, I might want to see the invoice detail. So this little option down here lets me split the screen, and at the bottom of this screen, For each invoice I choose at the top will show me all the line items for that invoice at the bottom of the screen. So now we're starting to see a relationship between two sets of data. This lines relationship that's defined here, you have the power to define those. So if you want to see any data in the top half of the screen and then any related data at the bottom, you define what that is and you can see it. And the beauty is it doesn't have to be Business Central data. So you can see data from any other system. If you've got related data, you can pull it all into one list from a CRM and an ERP, or it might be a timesheet system or a membership system, wherever that data is sitting, you can grab that and pull it into Popdock. Now, the next big thing, I've got this little icon on the right-hand side that says, let me drill down. So I want to have a look more at this invoice. This doesn't look right. I don't know why we don't have an item type and a number here. So I can take this icon on the right-hand side, which is an action, and say, go and open the invoice for me. Open that in Business Central. So that opens a new tab in my browser, automatically logs me into Business Central, and brings back that invoice 102,199, so I can see that straight here. So not only has Popdock become a way to find data, work with it, group it, but also a navigation tool to let me get quickly to the records I want to work with. I can then do normal things inside here. Now, so far I've shown you Popdock outside of Business Central, so we're working in a browser in its own right. Now, for those accountants that have a login to Business Central, they don't want to be jumping around browsers, so they want to stay in Business Central all day. So we've taken that into account. So when I come back to my main Business Central menu structure, we've added on the end here a reporting option for Popdock. So inside Business Central, I come to Popdock. This screen lets me do all of the things I showed you could do outside, but it lets me do it inside Business Central itself. So if we come to sales and we take the sales invoices list, the exact same list we had is now displaying for me in this environment. So I can then access all of that data. And if you notice from the menu structure, I've got every module of Business Central, and I can go and grab any of the predefined lists here. Now, if the list you want is not there, you get the power to define that, and we'll cover that in another video, but you get the power to build your own lists from scratch. What also makes this super cool is I can access data from external systems. So Popdock's not just for Business Central, it's also for tools like Salesforce. It's also for tools like Zendesk, where I could incorporate data from those systems into here. And if you take a look at popdock.com, if we go back to popdock.com and take a look at the connectors, you can add any data from any of these systems all into the one environment inside Popdock. So you get one tool, ask a question, add columns, define your filter, and it will query the right data from the right application and bring it back to you. So that's the power of Popdock for Business Central and all of your other business data. I hope you liked what you see. If so, certainly give us a bell at E1 Solutions, and we look forward to talking to you. Thank you.